Yo, yo, yo. Thank you for tuning in to the Skol State of Mind podcast. The Vikings 53-man roster has just been released. Now, I'm going to cue the intro and we're going to dive into it.
We in a Skol state of mind. We analyze how you play the line. Purple and yellow, we on the grind. D was the host and he's taking time. With expert opinions, we moving dominion. If passion is in you, then let's go continue. Bank on it just like a stadium venue. The topics we serving up just like a menu. We in our prime, high stepping. You feel the seat like it's cold peppers. Harder like Carter, but keep it smiling. Like this was the catch number 1,000. The show you gon' love it. You better tell your mama, cousin. The internet's talking and buzzing. So pull up a chair and just grab a drink. About the Vikings, tell us what you think. Cause we in a Skol state of mind. We analyze how you play the line. Everything purple and yellow, let's take it up a level. Start the show, yeah, it's time.
Yo, 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 yo. Thank you for tuning in to the Skol State of Mind podcast. As you already know, I'm your host, D Woods. Now, we're going to dive into the official Vikings 53-man roster. I know I dropped a video a couple of days ago, with my projections of who I thought was going to make the team, who the cuts were going to be. And I really didn't go into what the practice squad looked like. We're not going to do that in this video right now because I really feel like the practice squad is going to be a big surprise to everyone. So I'm going to bring up this slide right now. Shout out to my boy TPP Skol on Twitter, known as the Purple Persuasion. He had the best looking breakdown of the actual roster. So I just decided to use it. Let's bring it up. Okay. So we're going to start with the quarterbacks because that's basically at the top. I think all three quarterbacks was a lock. I mean, Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, Jaren Hall. Some people thought Jaren Hall might get cut, but I kind of figured with J.J. McCarthy going down, they kind of wanted to keep Jaren Hall on the roster, and especially because Jaren Hall kind of played a little bit better in the last two preseason games. So that kind of mirrors what I thought. Now, this is probably one of the biggest disappointments, of this 53-man roster for me is going into the season with only two running backs, Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. Now, Aaron Jones has somewhat a history of being banged up, and Ty Chandler still hasn't figured out how to accurately pass block. I just feel like maybe the Minnesota Vikings might bring in, somebody who got cut, legitimate, backup running back. We never know, but it just looks kind of weird to me starting the season with only two running backs. That makes me feel like, damn, we must not be trying to run the ball this year. Fullback, CJ Ham, that was a lock. I really think I got the receivers right all the way through. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor, Tristan Jackson, Brandon Powell, and Trent Sherfield. I think I got that right. I know I got the tight ends right. Josh Oliver, Johnny Munt, Nick Mules with TJ Hawkinson on the PUP list. PUP list basically means you already know he's going to be gone for 4 weeks. Hopefully it's only 4 weeks, but we're going to see. Now, the tackles, Christian Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill, David Krasenberry, and Walter Ross. I think I got that right, too. Centers, Garrett Bradbury, Dan Feeney. Basically locks. Guards, Blake Brandell, Ed Ingram, Michael Jerkins. Okay, so that basically rounds out the offense. Now, the biggest surprise this afternoon was the Minnesota Vikings basically cutting Kene Nwangwu. Now, that was a big surprise to me because I kind of felt like he kind of hit his stride and we kind of seeing little glimpses and flashes of the potential that he could, have playing in the backfield, on offense and not just a special teams player. I mean, some people out there actually think with the NFL changing the kickoff rules that basically Kane's value on the team kind of, diminished. But it's still a surprise to me. I mean, the guy is basically one of the fastest guys on the team, if not the fastest guy on the Minnesota Vikings. And I was just kind of seeing like, what they're going to do. I just really feel like when it comes to certain positions and certain players, I'm starting to have my gripes with Kevin O'Connell and his coaching staff because I do believe that some players do need, the extra work, need the extra, you know, workload going forward to actually see what they got. And just like I said before, some people just don't practice well. And I think like cutting Kane on this roster, it might bite them in the ass down the line, especially if you really thinking about going in the season with only two legitimate running backs on the roster. So we're gonna skip the defense and we're gonna go straight to the specialists. Specialists, locks. You already knew what it was. Real Ricard, as the kicker, punter, Ryan Wright, and long snapper, Andrew DePaula. So those were a lock. We kind of talked about them at my last video. So we're going to move on to this defense. All right. So nose tackles, you got Harrison Phillips, Taki Timani. That's great. That's great. Taki Timani make the team. I kind of felt like the past two preseason games, he was kind of balling out, making a name for himself. And I'm really happy to see younger guys make this roster. Now, inside D-line, Jonathan Bullard, Jerry Tillery, Levi Drake Rodriguez, and Jalen Redmond. I think I got everybody right on the defensive line. I really think I did. Jalen Redmond, Levi Drake Rodriguez. I think it's like I said before with Taki Tiami, like these younger players making a roster is great because I hope that this coaching staff can develop them. I'm not saying they're going to develop into being all-star Pro Bowl caliber players, but just being solid players, that can be able to contribute to this team. Now, outside linebackers, you got Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Vikinko, Dallas Turner, Patrick Jones II, and Jahad Ward. Sorry. So, yeah, I think I mirror image what I had. Inside linebackers, you got Ivan Pace Jr., Blake Kasman, Comer Grugier Hill, and Brian Osama. Those are two guys I didn't have on the roster, especially Brian Osama. Now, this is something to look at too with Brian Osama. I think he's basically a special teamer. He's probably not going to see too much snaps on the actual defense. And considering the Vikings don't have a third running back, I can see them actually trying to trade Brian Asamoah to somebody to, kind of save the cap space or whatever, maybe get a pick back and then probably slide in somebody, at the running back position. So out of everybody on defense, as of right now, I feel the person who should, be a little uneasy is Brian Asamoah because I feel like he might be the highest trade candidate or, cut if somebody's running back that the Minnesota Vikings feel could fit this offense and contribute. All right. So cornerback, Brian Murphy Jr., Shaq Griffin, Stephon Gilmore, Fabian Monroe. I didn't have him on here. I really didn't. And Dwight McGloverin, another guy, young guy I'm talking about, and a Caleb Evans. Damn, that's crazy to see a Caleb Evans all the way at the back of the depth chart. All right. I am just the heads up right now. I am going to make a video about draft pick busts later in the week, and I'm going to dive more into my theory on why this is happening. Okay, just to give that out there. Shout out to y'all. So safety, you got Harrison Smith, Cam Bynum, Josh McTellus, Jay Worrell, Theo Jackson. As you know, Lewis Seen did not make the roster. In my opinion, it's heartbreaking to me. Like, I still feel like he didn't get a fair shot. And, I just hope he makes the roster somewhere else and can actually show what he can do. But it is to say some of these COVID kids, and especially that Georgia defense, that no one's has really panned out in the NFL from that vaunted Georgia defense. But, it is what it is. I'm not going to harp on it too much. I'm going to make that next video like I told y'all. I'm going to basically talk about why I think, the Minnesota Vikings have been consistently busting in the draft. And I'm going to just go into depth and have a lot more slides to break it down to you guys so you can kind of see what I've been thinking for the past couple of weeks and why these busts happen. But that's the roster right there. That's the roster. Some of the stuff, like I said before, I'm a little disappointed on what they're doing with the running back room. But at the same time, it's just like that's their vision, you know, like that's their vision. That's Kevin O'Connell's vision. But we're gonna see how it works out. But this is just my basic reaction. I mean, I just really feel like when we're making videos in training camp, we're making videos, you know, in the off season, we kind of see and know which guys are going to make this roster. I mean, the biggest surprise to me was Kane Wangu. After that, I mean, it was just pretty much chalk to me, like because some of the guys that you didn't know made it at the end of the roster. It is what it is, and just like I said, Brian Osama, he might be the guy on this team that might still get traded and still might get cut, considering what value is actually out there on the free agent market. So I'm gonna end this video right now because it's basically it. But thank you guys for, you know, following the channel, talking to me on all social media platforms. I really appreciate it. I mean, I told y'all I was going to be ramping things up a whole lot more, and I have. So I really appreciate the response. And you guys already know how I end it. Skol, baby.